Hello you guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to today's video. It is a ridiculously exciting one. Hold on, first tea. So, I'm pregnant. A couple of you guys have actually mentioned it to me on Instagram and in the comments here. I have been asked, but obviously I didn't want to say it until it was time for us to let everybody know. So for today's video, I just kind of wanted to chat to you guys about the journey so far, I guess. And I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a recap of my first trimester as well. I actually took, when I found out I was pregnant, I started taking notes on my phone because I really wanted to just remember how I felt throughout the whole first trimester, throughout every trimester. But I thought it would be really nice to have notes to kind of look back on so that I knew how I felt in the moment instead of kind of experiencing it and then just regurgitating what I thought I felt when it got past that time period. That's what I'm going to run through with you guys today. It's just such an exciting time. We're so over the moon. We're so happy. I can't believe there's going to be a little bubba here very soon. So I am 24 weeks pregnant as I'm filming this, but 25 weeks very soon. So 24 and a half weeks we're gonna say. And I can't begin to explain how excited we are for little Bubba's arrival. So obviously I keep saying little Bubba or the baby or the bump because we haven't found out the gender and we're not going to find out the gender. We're gonna keep it a secret. It's really funny because over the last like couple of years or whatever, when I was thinking about pregnancy and stuff like that, not that I was thinking about it all the time, but anytime I'd like say watch somebody's gender reveal or something like that, I always thought like, is that something that I'd want to know? And to be totally honest, I never thought it would be something that I want to know. I always thought that I would want to keep it a surprise. But when we found out I was pregnant, I think we were both in kind of different camps at the start. My boyfriend kind of wanted to find out, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to find out. And then we totally flip-flopped where I wanted to find out, and then he was like, I think it'd be nice to kind of keep it a secret. And now we're both on the same page where we both want to keep it a secret, or not a secret, a surprise. I've been feeling great, thankfully. I will get into all of the nitty-gritty of my first trimester obviously in a second, but overall I have been really thriving during pregnancy, and I'm really happy to say that as well because I know a lot of other women don't have that experience and it can be tough. I know I'm not in my third trimester yet so things can go a whole pile different to the way they are now, but I've just been loving it. I've been loving my bump growing. I've been really appreciative of what my body can do. It's just mind-blowing to me, you know, seeing how the baby grows through the different scans and that my body's growing that. I just got goosebumps when I said that. It's just like, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I think we should just get running through my first trimester, and I think things will pop up that I can remember to tell you about the journey, I guess. So yeah, I'm hoping to do kind of one of these videos for each of my trimesters. So I only have like 4-ish weeks left in second trimester, and then I can do a little update video letting you guys know how that went. And then obviously third trimester will be when little Bubba arrives. So I've taken notes up until week 10, and I think I stopped then because things started to kind of just level out a little bit. They weren't as dynamic, I guess. The changes weren't as dynamic. Okay, so week 1, I actually have week 1 to 5 written here because I actually didn't know I was pregnant for like 4 weeks. The first thing that I have here is lightheaded / dizzy spells. So I guess these were the symptoms that started kind of twigging to me that I might be pregnant, and the first one was dizzy spells. Now I thought I was just really low in iron, and I could remember there was 2 people at work also had mentioned this to me pretty recently that they were having kind of dizzy spells. So I was like, is it that, or could it also be that I'm pregnant? I'm not sure. This symptom actually, I probably have it written throughout the weeks, but this symptom lasted for a long time. Basically it was like I had vertigo a lot, and it was really, I'm not going to say debilitating, but it really threw me off an awful lot at all times of the day. I'd wake up in the middle of, or I would lie down to go to sleep and I would feel like I was falling. I'd have to open my eyes again. I would be sitting on my sofa watching TV in the evening, and I'd go to put my head down because I was so tired, and if I just turned my head this way I would feel like ridiculously dizzy. I mean, it's like so discombobulating, is that the word? I had no awareness of my balance, no nothing. It was really confusing. I'd never ever had this before. It basically just kind of always felt like you were gonna faint at all times. When I was at work, if I put my head down to look at something for too long, I had to stand up because I thought I was gonna faint. There was times where I was blow drying my hair and I'd turn my head like this to blow dry my hair with my hair dryer, and I would feel like I was gonna faint. So yeah, that was one thing that really flagged, hello motorcyclists. So yeah, that was one thing that really flagged that I was possibly pregnant. After that, I have overly emotional. In week 3, I cried a lot at work over an inspector coming in, and then the following week I cried again over just feeling a lot of pressure. I was getting overly emotional about things at home, silly things that would be generally normal, like normal things that would happen. I was just like getting really emotional over, not upset, but just I found it really hard to control my emotions, but I wouldn't just like cry at the drop of a hat. Oh, this one. Really sensitive or heightened sense of smell. And the one thing in particular that I could not stomach the smell of was gluten-free bread. I don't eat gluten-free bread, but I would be around the scent of it a lot at work. I just could not bear the smell of it. The smallest like whiff of it being like toasted made me feel like I was gonna throw up. It was crazy. I can't even begin to explain how disgusting it was. That's completely gone now, but I felt so bad every time. One of the guys that I work with is a celiac, he's gluten-free. Every time I could smell the toast, I was like, please get it away from me. That is disgusting. It's the most revolting thing I've ever smelled in my life. But that was the only thing that that really made me feel nauseous. The only other thing actually downstairs, my mum picked me up a diffuser for Christmas, and it was a beautiful diffuser. And I had it on my coffee table in my living room, and every time I went into the room, I just couldn't. The smell of it was just so overwhelming, so I actually ended up having to move it up onto my mantelpiece, so it was a little bit further away from me. It's still in the room because it's lovely, but I just couldn't deal with the scent of it. This one was very tough for me. So I have here super tired, needed to nap in the middle of the day, week 3-4, falling asleep on the couch at 6 o'clock and sleeping through the night until the next day. That's how tired I was. During this month in particular, things were very busy for me at work, and I was very stressed out. That's also why I thought I was a little bit late on my period, maybe because I was just stressed. Also why I thought I was kind of having dizzy spells or low in iron, because I was just really stressed out. And also why I thought I was very tired. So it was kind of, until I took the pregnancy test, I was just putting all of this down to the fact that I was very stressed out at work during the month of January. I think the tiredness and the dizzy spells were the two things for me in my first trimester that really got me, you guys. Like, they were hard. And I think it was the hardest because I couldn't tell, not that I couldn't tell anybody about it, but we chose not to say anything to anybody until I was 12 weeks, and we got in the scan and checked that everything was okay with the baby and everything. And we wanted to have pictures to be able to show everybody as well, like the pictures of the scans. So yeah, I only had my boyfriend to tell, and he was obviously super great about everything, but I feel like I needed to let people, well, specifically like, you know, my parents and stuff like that, about like why I was so tired all the time, even at work, things like that. It was hard to explain why I felt like I couldn't do anything, basically, because I was so tired, but I couldn't say why. Anything else? Oh, feeling more dehydrated. I was drinking more water than tea. That was a big one. I didn't drink a lot of tea in my first trimester. Now, I know obviously with caffeine and stuff like that, I know a lot of women choose not to drink caffeine at all. Absolutely, that's a choice. I don't mind having a couple of cups a day, which is obviously keeping it low, but I completely went off drinking tea. I hardly drank tea in my first trimester. I do drink tea now again, which is really ironic because it's quite warm at the minute, but yeah, no tea in my first trimester. Well, not none, but very little. Okay, so moving on to week 6. Nelly, what are you doing under there, pet? I have starting to get a little nauseous at parts of the day, still feeling hungry, but times where food just doesn't sound good at all. I never had morning sickness, but the nausea, it kind of, I think it may be heightened in a couple of weeks time, so I'll just skip over that and fill you in a little bit more then. I have here Tuesday, tiredness took over, got to the gym for 7 a.m, but had to take a nap from 10:30 to 12, exhausted. I found it really frustrating that my energy levels were just like so on the floor again. I told my personal trainer actually pretty soon after this, because it was like fairly important that she knew that I was pregnant, because things had to change obviously in my workouts and stuff like that. But I still wanted to stay active because that's really important to me, because I think it's going to be super helpful when it comes to labour and delivery, and also to post-pregnancy obviously, with recovery and stuff like that. And it's just really important to me just to stay active and healthy. So yeah, I was really frustrated that the tiredness was taken over at this stage, and that I just couldn't handle day-to-day activities anymore. I was just so tired. And then obviously going to the gym, I couldn't put in 100% effort anymore. So this week I also had my first appointment with the doctor to confirm the pregnancy. I have here, it's official. Have to figure out what hospital I'm going to. I actually remember this appointment because I was so ridiculously overwhelmed. My boyfriend came home from work that evening and I just bawled my eyes out. And it wasn't because, well, I guess I was emotional anyway, but I was just really overwhelmed with all of the decisions that I had to make, and how new everything was, and all of the information that I just had to take in, specifically in that first doctor's appointment, because I can remember her saying, so where are you going? What's your plan? What are you doing? And then she ran through all of the different appointments that I'd have and how you'd be splitting it between a GP and a midwife. And I was like, please slow down. I've literally only found out that I'm pregnant. It's really hard to process all of this information all in one go. And I'm very much a person that needs to do the research for myself too. Well, not the research, but just have myself well informed, I guess. And I can just remember being really overwhelmed coming from that doctor's appointment. And it wasn't that I wasn't excited. It felt great to have everything confirmed, obviously, but the overload of information was just very overwhelming. Okay, this video is going to run long. It's gonna be a fun one to edit. So yeah, that was just an overwhelming moment, I guess. But my boyfriend is very good with kind of calming me down and talking me through situations. So when I do get overwhelmed and things like that. So that was nice to have somebody just to kind of like settle me and be like, Grace, we have tons of time to figure out all of this. It's gonna be fine. Sit down and have a little bit of a look at things, but don't overload yourself with information. So yeah, it was totally fine after that. I think I just needed somebody to kind of like vent about stuff with then. The next week, all I have, so this is week 7, nausea and absolutely shattered all week, still dizzy. So those were all symptoms that still kind of just remain throughout week 7. Week 8, I said, finding nutrition quite difficult at the minute. I feel super sick and the only thing that I feel I can eat is bread or carbs. So that's when the nausea started kicking in. There was one thing, and it did last probably into my early parts of my second trimester, where I obviously didn't feel sick, but I was quite nauseous at certain parts of the day, and it was all day. It wasn't just in the morning or anything like that. Morning sickness, if you are obviously getting sick, isn't just at the start of the day. It can be throughout the day, which is really fun. But yeah, the nausea was a funny one. There was certain things that I loved to eat that just sounded not great to me anymore. The one thing that I can really point out as like a food aversion, I guess, would be, it's gonna sound so weird because it's still one to me now and I don't know why I can't eat it, is like any form of an Asian stir fry with like veg, and that just sounds so disgusting to me right now, which is really ironic because I love Asian food. I can remember so many times us being out for dinner and somebody pointing it out in the menu and I was like, no. Also, cravings and things like that. I've had absolutely no cravings so far. Again, don't know if I'm going to develop any, obviously over the next the rest of this trimester and my third trimester, but haven't been craving anything. Haven't been craving either sweet or salty, to be totally honest with you. Haven't been totally going mad on sweets or anything like that, but also haven't been like, I need salty food. So yeah, I've just been quite neutral with my foods after that, I guess. I have here nausea and still fatigued, still dizzy, makes workouts hard, also turning over in the bed when I sleep. Oh my God, I forgot about this. In the middle of the night, when I would be like turning over onto one side, I would be getting dizzy and feeling like I was gonna fall out of the bed. Yeah, that one wasn't a nice one. I didn't like the dizziness at all, and I couldn't wait for that one to be over. Week 9, same as week 8, absolutely drained of energy, could only do 2 days in the gym. My PT could see how wrecked I was and I had to do a deload week. This week was really hard. I can remember how crap I felt this week, as in how tired I felt basically. I remember just walking into one of my training sessions and being like, I can't do it. I was so deflated. We obviously just stripped it all back, just kind of went through the motions and just moved my body a little bit. And also my trainer at this stage, she's such a great person to just vent to, and I just basically told her everything and got a lot of things off my chest, and I felt so much better. It was like a therapy session after going into that session. And the next week I was up and running again, 110%, feeling great. I think at this stage maybe I was doing 2 days with my personal trainer and 2 days in the gym as well on my own, and then this was when I kind of just started like taking the volume back, and obviously the volume of my weights down a little bit and things like that. Week 10 was, we actually went to Barcelona this week. So flew to Barcelona this week, trying to get normal eating patterns back. I think I was like, the times when I was eating and the day were all over the place, and the things that I wanted to eat were just like so bland, but things were starting to kind of get back on track again now. Nausea wasn't quite as bad this week, and I got back into the gym 3 times that week, and my strength felt like it was coming back. But I think that was down to I was just having a little bit more energy, and I took a week where I just kind of like let myself sit a little bit more. I remember when we were in Barcelona, I was feeling really great. I was eating really great too. I kind of was more open to eating more things, as in different types of foods, not just like straight up bread, like toast toast and butter basically, or like a bowl of cornflakes. Those were the things for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks where, or maybe 2 weeks where that was literally all that I could eat. But yeah, when we were in Barcelona, that was the best trip. I think that was the time where things really started to feel really lovely. We hadn't told anybody at this stage. We were just in our own little bubble, and I absolutely loved that. We loved that period. But then the next best period was when we got to tell everybody. So yeah, I guess we can kind of like skip on to that. But yeah, our Barcelona trip was like just like a really special one to us, because it was like me, my boyfriend, and the baby, and that was it. And it was really nice. So yeah, week 11 actually is when I had my 12-week scan. So I was a little bit early, and we went in and it was insane. I couldn't get over how much that we could see at 11 weeks. I couldn't get over how big, neither of us could get over how big the baby was. Well, not how big, but it was big. It was tiny, but it was big to us. It was just a dream. It was insane. That feeling, and that day, actually, that whole week was so special for us. That was also the week that we told our parents. I remember after the scan, we went to this little cafe. We both got club sandwiches. I feel like this is gonna be like a little ritual now. I think we have one more scan possibly, but it's like after scan, we go for lunch and we just talk about it. And we talked about it and we looked at the scan pictures, and oh, it was just such a lovely day. So I actually did end up having to go back for a 15-week scan after that, because she couldn't just get a really precise measurement of the baby's head. So I had to go back in again, which I was very excited about because I got to see the baby again. And it also makes that gap in between the scan and your booking appointment with your midwife, it makes that feel much smaller, which is nice because you get to see the baby one more time. Because I will talk about that in my next trimester update, but that's like, it's a long wait in between that, and you can just get a little bit nervous obviously because you can't feel any kicks at that stage because you're so early on, and you know, you haven't seen your baby because you haven't had a scan. So I was really appreciative that I got to get a 15-week scan too, just to see little bubs, to check that they were all good. So yeah, that's the story, I guess, of how we found out I was pregnant, how I've been feeling the last 24 weeks, but for the first trimester. And yeah, I'm really excited to kind of just keep you updated on how we're doing and everything over the next couple, well, I mean, there's not that long to go now, next 3 months, I guess. Yeah, I'm really excited to take you guys on this whole new adventure with us. Thank you all so much for being so kind and sticking around with the videos and everything like that. You know I really appreciate that, and it also feels so good to be back filming again and chatting to you guys on the regular, and I'm really happy that I get to share this new part of my life with you too. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. It was obviously a very special one to film, and I will talk to you guys very soon in my next one. Bye. From me, oh, I'll show you the bump. So here is a little bump right now. Nellie's coming to say hello too. So yeah, we're not too crazy, but we're definitely there. We're definitely starting to show. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I will talk to you again super soon. Bye.